Okay, so now we're going to come down here to our event loop, and we're going to, right now, I want to make sure you know where this code goes. And to be honest with you, this is not code I'm going to write from scratch. I just went over and I copied some. So this is at the same level as event close, size, menu, and gadget. As a rule, I put it right between menu and gadget. And again, I copied code. So now what we're going to do is delete all this stuff out of it because that's one routine that's used for a whole bunch of routines. Okay. All right. So now we're back up here and we have the basics of what you're looking for. There's two events that come with MyGrid, and they are change. So that says, hey, the value in this row changed. And then you get the row and column, and then you also get the event gadget, which is the grid, which is the list icon. Okay. So what I'm going to do, you get change and you get event click, because even though these are typed lists and we're kind of linking them all up, they're not, there's no inheritance here. So let's go ahead and put our grid name here. So this is planet, and that's list icon, right? And it's list icon grid. So there we go. We don't need this step. That's leftover code. What we're going to do. So what I've done is say our index, I want to keep this real clear. Index is negative, is row -1. Okay, we got all that understood, right? Don't get confused. That will really screw up a database faster than you can imagine. Okay, so what we want to do is say, okay, the other thing I'm going to do, now that I know this, we have, let's select element, select element, and this is atmosphere list, right? And I want to select index. So now I have selected the same record as the row being selected on the screen. So what we want to do, this fires when it changes. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to go ahead and say add a little bit more here. For this example, I really don't need this because we're only playing with one column. But imagine if you would, you have 5 columns or 10 columns. So what you have to do is say if column equals 1. Okay, remember 1 base, so that's our very first column of actual grid. And then you would say else if yada yada yada, and then eventually end if. Okay, so now we know we're talking that column 1 changed on our grid, and now we've selected this. And so what we want to do is come down here and we're going to say that atmosphere equals MyGrid. Let's go here. And we're going to say get text. Now, he's got several things that he wants here. First off, he wants to know what we're getting it from. What are we getting the text on? You could have 6 of these grids on your screen for all he cares. All right. And now we need to tell him what row and what column. Now, you want to make sure you're using the row and column straight off of his function. All right. That way we know that, okay, it's row and column. If I was going to reference the row and column on my atmosphere list, I would have to subtract 1. But we're not doing that. We're just saying, give me the text from this grid, row and column, and shove that into atmosphere. Okay, so there you go. There's your update of change. Now, similarly down here, we're going to come into here and say, I'm going to go ahead and just copy this just because I'm lazy. Most programmers have a little bit of lazy streak in them. We plagiarize our own code all the time. That's just what we do because we can. Okay, so, oops, that was a bit much, wasn't it? Okay, so let's get back to what we just needed. I guess I copied too much. I got over ambitious. Okay, so back that up. Okay, so now here we're going to say we have the same requirement. We need to identify the row, and what I'm going to do is do the same thing here again, and we will select the matching. We're going to select, oh, that's right. That's why I left that locked. I remember that now. Because all we want to really do with modify, and what column is modify in? So 0 is our row or column number, and then 1 is our atmosphere. So 2 is going to be modify, and else if column equals 3, why that's a delete. So then all we would want to do if you hit modify is to say our cell, what we want to do is, hold on, let's come up here. I'm going to plagiarize myself again because at some point you start forgetting syntax. Okay, let's come up here to this guy. If I could get to the plus sign there. What I want to do is set the style on this guy to be editable, right? And we'll come up here now and let's put all of these guys back to being locked. All right, so let's come up here and let's change this back to locked. Okay, so he's locked. Everybody's locked. And you hit the modify button. So then what we want to do is say row of column, here we go. So we put this in. There you go. So we're going to assign the style to our data grid. The row that's selected, column 1 is now going to have an editable left style, which means they can change it. Okay, now, and then when they change it, that'll fire the event change, and then we update it in our list. Now, when we hit delete, here's where it gets a little bit more interesting. So we've selected our element here. So we know we have the right record selected. So all we want to do is say delete this guy, right? Delete element. And we're going to say, here's our list. We're going to delete the currently selected item. And now it's off the list. And then, you know what? We're going to cheat. Because this system is so fast and PureBasic is so fast, all I want to do is say, hey guys, go redraw the grid. I'm not going to try to delete columns and do all of that hard work. To heck with it. I got it. I just want to have you repaint the grid. And that's what he's going to do right here.